Hello, survivors, and welcome to another episode of Will You Survive?
No, I won't.
The podcast.
I am your host today, Alex. I'm joined by my co-hosts. The No, I Wouldn't is Eric, and the podcast is TJ.
Hi, my name is Eric.
I am the podcast. Today we are going to talk about survival situations in the movie The Grey, starring Liam Neeson from 2011. But just first reactions, guys. What did you think of the movie?
TJ?
I mean, I won't spoil our, end of season tier list, but I would rate it somewhere up there, somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Too.
I did not like this. I haven't watched it since the first time I watched it, and when it came out, I did not like it. Didn't like the ending. But I've changed. You know, my tastes grow as a human being, so it's better.
So you like it a little more now than when you watched it when it first came out?
Yeah, I say
Okay.
I do.
All right. You?
Wow. I really liked this movie. I thought it was it's very like emotion, I don't know, invoking. It was a really good movie. I thought it was I don't think you survive it because, no one in the movie survives, but
That we know of.
I
Now,
guess technically we did see. We'll get there.
as for me, I always hate to say that TJ is ever right, but I have to rate this as a mid-level movie. I say mid only because of the ending. The ending really got me. It lost me. I hate those open-ended endings, especially when it didn't need to be.
No, but what about the after credit scene? Did that change your mind?
No, I think it just kind of furthered. We had a discussion, listeners, before we started recording. We were talking about this, and at the end, there's an after credit scene where it shows the wolf taking its last breaths.
And Otway too.
Yeah,
wait,
we assume that he's
Otway was alive.
out
He was
for
breathing.
the count, though.
It showed him?
He was moving. His body was moving with the wolf.
Yeah, but you couldn't really tell if it was him moving or the wolf just like breathing and moving his head.
That's what I
he's
thought.
laying-
I thought it was the.
I thought it was very
the
obviously
wolf.
him. I thought they were both taking their last breath.
Well, this is great. This is going to be more conversation at the end. So, getting into the beginning, it let us know right away that Liam Neeson is a hunter of wolves. So clearly he's going to know what he's talking about when it comes to the species.
Except he didn't.
Well, he kind of did.
Well, no.
Like basic shit, though.
Okay.
A lot of what
actually, hang
he
on.
said was right.
In this universe, no. But in this universe, he's right with everything that he said. But on Earth, wolves don't act that way.
No. I didn't say that. Everything he said was accurate in that wolves will defend their den. Those are the aggressive wolves. Of all of the wolf attacks on humans, the most fatal have been aggressive, which means you stumble on their den, you're near their cubs, and they will lash out with everything they have to defend their home. It's almost, you could probably consider it accidental because they're not hunting you. They're not trying to
You walked
unalive
into
a
their
human.
house.
Right. You walked up on them and their young are there. So they're going to, and one of the things he said, when you're in their home, they're not afraid of anything. I think that's an exaggeration, but they will defend. Even if they're afraid, they're not going to run away from their cubs. They're going to stay there and fight regardless of fear.
Exactly. Well, that's why I think that the only death that was sensible in this movie was Otway at the very end.
Yeah.
Other than that, all the other ones seemed not at all like wolf
Yeah,
behavior.
no, these wolves
will
were
agree
straight
with
up
that,
just
okay?
like fucking dicks for no reason.
Right?
They're not even near the den at the start of the movie, and they're
Right.
just beefing. They're just like,
They're-
they want to run fades. That's just...
They're in
Right.
the middle of nowhere. They
Yeah.
crashed in the middle
Literally.
of no trees, in the middle of nowhere. These wolves went outside of hunting area to go check out this plane crash.
like,
they would
dog.
never do that.
Right,
They're within
right.
50 miles of our den. We gotta murk them now.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
even eat
Oh,
them
no.
either.
Now, one of the things I will say is
Yeah, they're just hunting for sport. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not even eating them.
he vastly underestimated what many people believe a gray wolf's hunting territory is. He said it was anywhere from 100 to 300 miles. What I found looking it up is it could be up to 1,000 square miles.
Yeah, I read anywhere from 50 to 1,000,
Yeah.
depending on the scarcity of food,
Right.
and other factors, and their
And
territory
the size of the
range-
wolves.
Yeah, and their territory range, I believe, is smaller than that. Their
Yes.
territory range is like 50 miles or
Yes.
something, or 50 to 100 miles.
That's usually where, and they did a good job with that the first wolf, remember? They came up, and I think this was the one. Yeah, this was the one that they attacked, and they unalived it.
Yeah,
They're like, was this the
eating-
alpha? And he goes, no, this was the omega. It's the outcast. And it's funny because everything I read is the omega is the outcast that they send. I love the internet called it the omega is the scapegoat. So the alpha will use the omega as the slaughter. You're the sacrifice. You go do it. And they'll do it because they're either too weak to fend for themselves. They need the rest of the pack. And if the rest of the pack can achieve the goal by using the omega, they'll do it. And they'll save the omega if they can. But we have to agree in this movie, they they used some very exaggerated scenes with how the wolves behaved.
Yeah.
Wolves are very shy, they're very timid, especially from humans.
Yeah, they don't like humans. We're not their food. They don't want to eat us.
Right.
Because, well, I think part of it, TJ and I were talking about this. We were wondering when they were cooking that first wolf, we were thinking like, oh man, I kind of wish I could try some. I'm sure it would taste like shit.
Awful.
It would taste horrible. But how many people get to say they've tasted wolf?
Yeah.
Like actual
Now,
wolf.
I was also
I only
saying,
know
like,
one guy.
And then, yeah.
with you know how he cut the wolf's head off and he was like, look at what I've done, you know. I would high key be the same way, except I would have to take like that pelt with me, you know. Like I would just just for the flex, dude. If you got like a whole wolf pelt on you,
I gotta tell you, the thing that I would have done different with that, I understood he acted out of pure emotion. I get it, but maybe I'm just sick like this. But I had thought what he was gonna do was mount the head on his
a stick.
spear.
Put it on
that's
a stick.
that's
walk
what I
with
said.
it.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about. Is I was saying I would put it on a stake. There's something so primal about that. It's like a very primal instinct where it's like you want to scare away your attacker, put one of their heads on a stake right by your territory.
Yep.
That shows them I'm not fucking around.
Yep.
That's like when do they say that about rats? To leave a dead rat for a little bit? No, what did they say that about?
Wait, give me the context.
There's a way to get rid of a certain creature by like leaving the dead body of one
honestly,
of them.
like very small scale ants.
Yeah. It's a way it deters them because they're like, oh, we're all dying here. I'm not going to go here.
Yeah, they'll move.
So they go somewhere else, like a rational creature would.
What's funny is from our perspective, if you look at how ants do it, it seems like it's a nonsensical thing to do because they'll move and they only go like down the wall. But when you put it in perspective to the ant, that's got to be the equivalent of hundreds of miles.
It moved so far down and it's still there.
From us, we're like, you assholes, you just moved from like here to there. It's like 4 feet, you know? No, we'll go a little longer than that, like 8 feet. You're like, you moved across to the other side of my room, you jerks. You know, I didn't do anything. Well, you actually did. It's just perspective. So I want to take you guys into the airplane when they crashed. I think they did a couple of things good, a couple of things bad. Number one, I would not be focused on alcohol. What kind of things would you guys be looking for in that crash?
Well, I actually do think the alcohol was a good call.
Yeah, we brought that up.
Because of how cold it is, I do think alcohol at least gives you a sensation of being warm, and that could be handy.
Just, you know, I think it'd make you more comfortable.
It could be handy, especially
that could be the difference between life and death. You know,
in this very uncomfortable situation, to preserve a little bit of sanity as long as you don't abuse it. But also, I was thinking like the clear alcohols. If you could find vodka or something, it's not the best, but you could use that as a sterilization. I think for wounds. So it's
what we found out is we were, you know, when he comes up upon that first wolf and it's like eating the flight attendant.
Yeah.
And he gets bit by it. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna get infected.
That's the
what the
first
hell
thing I
are they
thought.
gonna clean it with? Right.
I was thinking, what kind of bacteria is in a wolf's mouth?
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. Because anytime I get bit at work from domestic
Dogs,
dogs,
yeah.
I'm like, I gotta clean the shit.
We
out
went
of
down
this.
the list. We're like, well, they don't have water. They have snow. Snow has bacteria in it. That's a no-go. If they don't have alcohol, what else could they use? And I was like, maybe jet fuel.
I
Jet
will say
fuel
this.
does not
No, hang
work.
on.
We looked it up.
No.
It causes
exactly.
more, and it has bacteria in it. Did you know that? Did you?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and he was like, I don't know, maybe I'll use like jet fuel. It's like, that wouldn't even be in my consideration.
Probably has antibacterial
I was like, I would
qualities.
never consider jet fuel in my life to put on an open wound. I was like, I can't imagine jet fuel into your bloodstream is good.
No.
And I was like, well, let's take it to ChatGPT. What does it have to say? And it was like, absolutely do not fucking put jet fuel in your wounds.
petroleum-based.
Are you for real?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
gets into your bloodstream. It can poison you.
It was like toxicity. It also said that the second the jet fuel touches an open wound, it'll start to cause necrosis on your muscle.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it is not sterile. So it introduces a whole realm of different bacteria into your open wound.
Right.
Not
Now,
my best
not a
idea.
good-
So in that case, I think I said cauterization would probably be like the
Now,
best
that
way
could be something.
to like
well,
kill
there's
something.
There's something else with that is I don't know how many people know this is jet fuel does not combust by a lighter.
Yep, we
Yep,
talked
we
about
said
that
that
too.
too.
Because we mentioned this in when we were talking about DIY traps, and I think TJ
It's a,
actually made the trench of zombies with jet fuel or with rocket fuel or something, and you were like, but it doesn't combust. So we brought that up that it wouldn't work.
Everything has
I
a
mean,
flashpoint. Like
It
diesel,
will
you can't light.
combust. Yeah. What's funny
gotta
is
heat it up first.
and diesel and jet fuel are almost the same. It's jet fuel is super refined diesel, right? So it's like it's super pure as far as petroleum goes, not pure like sterile. But when you look at how a diesel engine works, it works on compression. There is no spark plug.
Exactly. So
It
that's
presses it so tight.
That's what we were
that
talking
the
about.
molecules start.
Because in the trench, I was like, I'll just stomp on it really hard, and that'll make it light.
So
You didn't like that answer then.
with that, they did do something smart that I thought. Oh, wait, I want to go back to one thing. You had said snow has bacteria. The one thing that I would say to counter that is they had so much freshly fallen snow that you could probably get away with eating the snow.
Well, they were clearly able to make tons of fires.
Yeah.
So they could just boil some water in
But
mass.
like I'm saying, when you have that much fresh fallen snow, you don't have to worry about purifying it.
Yeah.
If you could capture rainwater in a jug, like fresh fallen rain in Alaska, don't do this in Los Angeles unless it's been raining for an extended period of time.
Because all the chemicals in the sky.
All the chemicals in the air, it's going to bring it all
but
down
it's all
first.
a conspiracy. Oh,
So
wait, it's true now.
you wait, 3, 4, 5 days after it's been raining consistently. Then you can start capturing the rainwater and drinking it straight.
So like
if you're
today.
in Los Angeles, but if you're in Alaska, you could capture that snow. I bet fresh out of the air and eat it, drink it. You want to melt it, warm it up because you're already freezing cold. So, but they can make the fires no problem.
As we've been talking, I've been trying to think of another way that he could have cleaned his wound. Because like dirty wounds, you gotta take care of them. I was just going through my brain. I'm like, what the fuck do they have around them? And I was like, I'm pretty sure pine tree sap is good for healing shit. I think I heard that somewhere. So I just Googled it. Pine sap is a natural antiseptic and antibacterial. So I don't know how much they could get because, it's kind of frozen up there. So I don't know if like the shit in the tree's frozen.
Well,
but they
so-
could at
It
least
would be
try.
very, very difficult because most of those, if you noticed, most of them were barren. But when they got,
No, they weren't.
most of them were the first ones that they went into.
The first ones.
they had no leaves.
Yeah. But the second one were like full green pine trees with also no snow. TJ pointed out after a fresh blizzard.
Yeah.
No snow on the trees.
Yeah, but before we leave the plane, I wanted to ask you guys something because they grabbed a lot of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
They clearly had a lot of wood still. They had things. Wouldn't you have tried to grab something to use as some sort of a walking stick / weapon?
I
Yeah.
was thinking snowshoes. Make some fucking snowshoes. Take some fabric, turn it into like a string, get something flat that you can strap to your feet so they're not sinking 3 feet into the snow as they're walking. Because the wolves
Like the padding
can
from
run
the seats,
through
maybe?
the snow like nothing because that's
They
where
run
they're
on
from.
top of it. Did you see
Literally.
it?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point that I would never have thought of because I've never really lived in a snow environment, would be to make snowshoes. What I was thinking would be like, I'm just trying to think of obscure things that I might need in the future, which are things that they ended up having, like buckles and some form of like rope, like seatbelts and stuff like that. I'd be grabbing random shit if I'm being honest. I'd go for food, alcohol, and random stuff.
So I want to throw.
Maybe I'd also be a wallet carry guy.
Because this is valid to our topic. Nerdy Vet chimed in and had said tobacco can be used, and I looked it up on the fly because he said that. Well, tobacco itself is not an antibiotic. antibiotic. The product in it, the nicotine, has antimicrobial properties, and they clearly had cigarettes and stuff with them. So there was an
So
ability
I wonder
to.
if they could, like, take the tobacco, put it in some snow, let it boil, next to the fire, and then kind of reduce that down into like a goop,
Yeah.
Yeah, that might work. That could get the most amount of nicotine out.
Something like that, right? Like
I'd be using it as dip because I'm a fiend, but
I mean, that would be kind of good. Now you get out, as you guys had pointed out, when you start making your way down to the tree line. If we would have grabbed something, as you were talking about snowshoes, I thought like the seats, the old seats to the airplane, lightweight. Most of the plane's hull is aluminum.
Yep.
You'd have to be able to find scraps of aluminum. The thing was shredded to pieces.
Can I bring up something here?
Yeah.
I think all up to this point is mostly luck on whether or not you survive, because surviving the plane crash is the first thing, and I think that is purely luck for the most part.
Yeah.
As long as you weren't unbuckled standing around. If you're buckled in your seat, it's really just odds.
It's also good
whether
that
or
they
not you
landed in
survive.
like fresh snow, because that
Yeah.
added a little bit of impact dampening.
I think I'd be wildly uncomfortable and miserable, but if I survived the plane crash and I was in his position, I hate the cold, but I think I could survive. I could survive that first night. All the emotional stuff. I don't think I would die to the wolf right away, but crossing the plains, I'm a small guy. They were getting stuck down to their knees.
Yeah.
And these are tall dudes.
Yeah.
I'm not making it.
He would
get through that plane.
Speaking of which, what is Liam Neeson? Is he like 6'3"?
Is he a big dude?
Let me look that up.
I thought he was like 5'10" or something.
While you
but
look
I
that
don't
up,
know. I'm guessing.
I'll point out again. Nerdy Vet said something good. You had just said this too, TJ, but this is
6'4".
now 6'4".
Yeah,
And his
So this
birthday
is now
June
confirmed.
7th, the day before my birthday. Crazy.
I'm into
Nice.
my thighs of snow.
So I think
in this
I think we
situation.
could call this fact confirmed that you can in fact boil down cigarette tobacco into a salve and use it for healing property. Its healing
See,
properties.
I'm just talking out of my ass, but I just got a natural survival skill. Just saying.
Yeah, how do you make a salve? How would you?
Okay, God damn it, Nerdy's coming up with the good ones. The wolves wouldn't go after you anyway. You're too skinny.
I mean, true. They'd run past me, and I'm like, guys, wait behind you.
Oh, Eric
like,
also
what
said
is-
I'd get
what is this
blown
little
away
guy?
by the wind, is what he said. He
Yeah,
said he'd get
genuinely,
fucking
that wind would genuinely
turn into
blow
a
me away.
kite.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like,
yeah.
I'm not a big dude. I'm quite literally a foot shorter than Liam Neeson. I'm into my thighs of that snow, trying to trudge through it. I'm not gonna make it. And then the wind blowing. I mean, I guess the only saving grace there is that I'm thigh deep in snow. I don't think I'm blowing anywhere.
Yeah.
But
Unless you're light enough to walk across the top of the snow.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
fresh powdered snow, though.
He's like freaking Legolas in Lord of the Rings, walking on top of the snow where everybody's buried in it.
that was fresh powdered snow. That's another thing. Like, this is completely unpaved, untamed wildlands of snow.
Yeah.
I'm not making it through.
So,
I die on the plains right there.
I would say this. You asked, how do you make that salve with tobacco? You just you break apart the cigarettes. You put the tobacco in your pan. Right. We're just gonna make up a term right now. Put it in your pan and you melt it down with a carrier oil. In this case, you'd probably have to use the pine sap. You'd have to be able to get at least a little bit of pine sap. Now, you would
that'd be
traditionally
like
want to use
double
something
the-
else like beeswax, but we wouldn't have it, so you would have to use what you have, right?
okay,
You're not
'cause
going to get beeswax in Alaska.
I was thinking water, not
No,
sap.
you need an oil.
That makes
You need an
sense.
oil.
That makes a lot more sense than what I was imagining.
But the pine sap actually melts pretty quickly. It has a fairly low.
They also had shotgun shells, which you could, if the wound's real deep and it needs to be closed, they could dump
black
the
powder?
gunpowder in there. Yeah.
I would love to talk about the boomsticks.
Well, let's talk about them
Yeah.
because I don't know. Should I say mine first? I'm going to say mine first.
Yeah.
and I want to know what you guys think.
Because we already know
I
what we
personally
think.
thought that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought great for ingenuity. A for ingenuity, F for application. I don't think it would ever work the way that they set it out.
Yeah. So here's the thing about that. First of all, I'm no engineer, but I do like to, try to make random things out of twigs and sticks, and the sticks are never as strong as you think they are.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think that you're not going to be able to get that tip of that spear sharp enough to act as a pin, to act as a firing pin to hit the primer. But like, I don't think it's going to work because the whole point is to create a spark. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to create a spark with wood.
I mean,
Well,
not
no,
necessarily a spark, because the spark will create if you can depress the.
If you hit the pin hard
But
enough,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make a spark with wood.
in there.
It's
So
not
in the
gonna
cap.
work because first of all, the sticks surrounding the shotgun shell and the spear, holding it together
Yep.
and then taped together.
Yep.
I don't think that holds when you jam it into a wriggling wolf.
Yep.
It's not gonna work.
I mean, yeah. All things being perfect, it would probably still not work, especially not on the first try.
So I was asking TJ, what are even if it does work, let's say it's somehow is strong enough, and when you press it into the wolf, it goes off. What does that do?
Nothing
I think
really.
It would be more for like scaring it, is what I
Yeah,
said.
loud.
It would just be
bang.
a loud bang,
Yeah.
right?
It wouldn't really
Yeah.
even do that much damage other than like maybe a little bit of singed hair. But it's not like releasing those pellets at enough velocity to do any damage.
Yep.
You would
Yeah,
need to
so-
like I told him I would look for like piping or something in the plane that would like fit the circumference
Ooh.
of the shell. You could put it in there and then maybe hit it with like, I don't know, a rock or something and just like makeshift shotgun.
Oh, so he
or something.
found the gun. What
You
was
know-
wrong with the gun?
Cowboy. It was broken.
Like
broken
in
in
half?
half. It was broken. Yeah, it was. It wasn't disconnected. It was snapped. So there's no putting that back together. He didn't have the right glue. He didn't have his wood glue with him. I want to give
Speaking
a
of wood glue. You can make glue out of
pine sap.
yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Cowboy, who says a good point to those shotgun sticks is you would have to have hit bone on the wolf for there to be enough resistance
Exactly.
on both ends.
Because you're just gonna hit meat.
That's it.
And it's
going to
gonna
go
absorb the
in.
hit.
Right. It's not enough of a jolt.
Yeah,
Like, you
you're not
need that
hitting
hard-
wood. You're not hitting a metal.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see that ever working. I think using the shells for gunpowder is a much better use of your resources than the boomstick. Although in the movie the boomstick worked.
And once again,
They could have made a boom boom.
Nerdy makes a
had
good point.
Handful of jet fuel.
Nerdy Vet makes a good point that we gotta clarify. We do not recommend anybody use gunpowder for cauterizing wounds. We were talking in this situation as you have the worst situation. You are in the worst situation. You have no medical supplies. You have no capability of treating, cauterizing, or sealing a wound. You have gunpowder.
I'm not saying,
Oh.
hey,
Yeah.
doc, while I'm in surgery,
Yeah,
dump
it's a
some
very-
powder in me and just light me ablaze.
Very bad
just like-
idea. It could potentially cause more harm than good,
Yeah, no, definitely not. We
but it
live,
will
But
stop
it
your
we
bleeding.
live
needs to
in a
stop the
modern
bleeding.
soci-
That's the main thing.
We live in a modern society. If you're not in a dire emergency, you're about to die within seconds. Like, go to a doctor. Don't use gunpowder. But in an emergency situation, you're stranded in Alaska with wolves hunting you. I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. I've seen it in a movie, maybe.
So now-
do you think that would actually work? I feel like it would.
Gunpowder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
it
that.
would.
Yeah.
It would, for the purposes that we're talking about.
It would seal the wound.
It would cauterize the wound. Is it a good idea? No. What could also happen is you can cause major infection. You could have uncontrollable burns because you don't use the right amount of powder. You don't know exactly what is going to happen. And by the way, the
Yeah, it's a
powder,
gamble.
the powder will burn even while smothered. So being inside of your body, it can still burn without oxygen for a little bit, until the fuel
Don't
runs out.
Pour it into a gaping stomach wound. I'm
This
saying, like, if you get a
we all
gash.
agree. We
Yeah.
all agree.
You got a bad- I
This was
think
in
you
their
gotta-
situation. They're running away from a predator that's hunting them. It would have been so much cooler, I think, if they would have gone grizzly bear, because
I was
thought bear
thinking
would've been
that.
cool, too.
It would have been funny if it was like, they got to the point where they're running from the wolves in the forest, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden, grizzlies, just a pack. Doesn't even make
See?
sense.
Doesn't even make
just a
sense.
pack of
kills
grizzlies.
all the wolves and then goes after them.
goes after them, starts hunting them.
That would
But-
be crazy.
me.
But a grizzly will go after you. Yeah, they're definitely asleep at that time.
See,
Cowboy.
I definitely thought, but like the thing about a grizzly is like it would pretty much be one big fight.
Oh, yeah.
And then that'd be that.
Yeah.
There'd be
Now-
no picking them off one by one.
Yeah, they're not really endurance hunters. They're more mess you up and hope you're done.
The bear would go in, try to kill as many as it can, and if they managed to really wound it, it would run off to go lick its wounds.
And for those of you listening on the podcast when this comes out on our regular forum, if you want to participate in the live episode, come to our TikTok. Search Will You Survive the Podcast. We usually record on Fridays. Come check it out. Participate. You can send your comments. And I wanted to say another one that came in brought up some of the other facts that I want to move on to. Now, we've already agreed. This was, what can we say, fantastic. They made out the wolves to be something that they're not. But putting that aside, do you agree that they did a pretty good job of identifying the family unit of the wolf pack?
Yeah, I think there's one specific moment that I really like. It was right before they kill the first wolf, where they hear the alpha wolf, as Otway says, put down one of the wolves that were challenging it.
Yep.
I like how that happens, and then right after, Otway puts down Diaz and kind of puts him in his place.
Yeah,
it was
parallel.
an exact side by side. Yeah, it was a parallel that the wolf alpha had to tell one of his men to back off and stand down, and so did Otway. Otway had to step in and tell one of his guys to knock his shit off as well.
Yeah. So I thought they did a good job of that. The one thing that I noticed they did not do in this, every bit of literature that I could find on this, and disclaimer, I am no animal expert. I don't know wolves. I don't deal with wolves in the wild. I do know that these would have been gray wolves in the Alaskan, or timber wolves as they're known in the Alaskan wilderness. They usually operate on a alpha couple. There's an alpha male and an alpha female.
So I have a question though. Wolves don't typically act this way because maybe I'm wrong about this, but I would assume that because they do know of humans, right? Mm-hmm. What about wolves that are so deep into the Alaska wilderness that maybe they've never seen a person before? Oh no, that wouldn't make sense because they found logging. They found logging marks in the woods, so the wolves had to have known of humans.
You just gotta
Never
chalk
mind.
it up to it being a movie.
Yeah,
because sharks
that
don't
still brings
act
up
like they do in Jaws or in
Yeah.
Shallows.
but that still brings up my point, though, where it's like, what about the wolves that are so far removed from civilization that they may not even know about humans? Do you think if humans were randomly dropped into their situation that they would feel threatened enough to hunt them down?
I think they'd be curious.
Because that's different
Okay.
than wolves who know of humans and are like, oh, I don't want to really mess with
Well,
these
I would
guys.
agree. I would agree with TJ. I would not think that they would try to hunt. And the reason why is think of what they just witnessed. If they're not familiar with humans,
hunk of metal
they just
fall from the
witnessed
sky.
this humongous thing fall from the sky.
Like, that weird
Fire.
tree is on fire.
Fire,
Came
which
from the
all
sky.
animals universally know and
Yeah.
recognize as stay away from that, right? That hurts. Don't go near that. And humans, this beast,
moths.
this beast that walks on two legs is walking out of that fire. They don't seem to be afraid of it. They make this fire. No, I don't think they would be interested in hunting humans. Definitely believe curiosity. Now, I've also read that curiosity in wildlife can also cause a lot of attacks because the animal may get too close to humans and the humans don't know how to react around the animals. They scare each other and bite, yell, scream, run. But that's typically how wolves act. They're very shy. They're very timid around humans.
So I don't know. I've never been face to face with a wolf. I've never really seen a lot of wolves. So I'm not sure how you're supposed to react with them. However, I do know dogs, and I know how you're supposed to react with domestic dogs. As one of my favorite trainers has said, most quote unquote aggressive dogs are punk ass bitches. They don't actually want to do shit. They're looking for a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
And if they come charging you and you don't move, that's a little freaky to them. That's why I'm not saying all the time. You could get a really bad dog, but most of the time, the ones who are charging you aren't at like the really bad dogs aren't typically charging you. So if there's a dog charging you and you hold your ground, there's like a 99% chance that dog's going to stop right in front of you and just start barking at you because they're looking for you to run away and act like prey.
Well, everything that I read about wolves from this movie actually said the same thing. Is even the territorial aggression that they portray in this movie is massively exaggerated. That wolves would rather try to scare you and drive you away. They want to push you away. Just like you're saying, they're going to charge at you and they're going to howl and they're going to scream and make all their noise. And I think it would have worked. All of these guys would have been afraid and they would have moved away from the sounds, right? Or in their case, I guess they moved into them. But to be fair, the wolves attacked them first. Which that's the one thing that
wouldn't have happened.
All literature says is unrealistic. Now, they could have been starving. Maybe we can make up excuses, but the absolute aggression and fact that they were hunting these men the whole way through is what makes it unrealistic. They don't typically do that.
Were not starving. You see how many freaking dead things were in their den?
Yeah.
They're just
it's true.
beefing for no reason. They're just like, yo, fuck these guys.
And in that region, they would have had plenty of, if not moose, they would have had caribou.
Yeah.
Like there's tons of animals.
We didn't see any other animals.
It's true. That's true too. That's a good point.
Yeah, it was just
well, I don't know. They weren't particularly quiet anywhere they were going.
Well, that's true. You're right. Prey is usually skittish.
They're gonna run away. They're not gonna want to be near you.
Which I guess we could make an example. You know, we could make an argument that the wolves were pissed off at them because we drove away. The humans drove
from
away
their
their
hunting
prey.
grounds. But like but it still doesn't excuse why they attacked them initially.
Right.
They were so far away from their den. It doesn't make any sense.
So I did want to bring up a point. I wonder if you guys feel the same way I do about they crossed this cliff, this gorge, right, to get away from the wolves.
There's no way that first guy made that jump.
I mean, that was nuts, but nonetheless.
I think you're going to bring up what I said.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're going to bring up.
How'd the wolves get on the other side?
Yeah,
literally, I was like, no.
It's
they're
easy,
like,
boys. We either jump or we face the wolves. And then they jump, and there's still wolves.
They jump and they face the wolves. They're just there.
I'm like, so we did all that for nothing.
That's
Dude's
exactly what I
hallucinating at the
thought.
bottom,
I'm
thinking
like,
he's freaking, with his
with
daughter.
his daughter.
But that's the best way to go, considering what was actually happening to him.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Also,
Which is like,
black dude went out like a bitch. Ain't no way. Oh, it's the altitude. There's not enough oxygen. You are not that high up. There are trees with leaves on them that are alive.
Very
the further
green
you go
trees.
up, the less trees there are. There are a shitload of trees right next to you. There's a lot of oxygen.
Or carbon dioxide, actually.
that's true. Yeah. But trees also
they're
produce
putting out
oxygen.
oxygen.
So the more
Yeah.
trees there are. And also, I don't know. I don't know much about hypoxia, so I really don't have much of an opinion on this. But I also do think it's a little
did
bullshit.
they ever
that
set
that's
up
what
that he
died
had
of.
like asthma or something?
What? Well,
That
see,
would have made sense if
Yeah,
they're
they
like, he's
should've
having an
set that
asthma
up.
attack and we're in high altitude.
I just think I kind of forgive it because I think it might have been a directorial problem because he was having problems when they crashed. So I think they were trying to tell us that he had some sort of an injury from the crash, but I can't defend that
wait.
position because he was hurting and he was sick. He was
Maybe he was
coughing
You're right.
from the
internally
beginning. Something
'Cause
like
they
that.
did say
I
something.
thought like
they said something about we crashed at 400 or whatever miles per hour or some shit. And
Yeah.
I kind of thought
Yeah.
about that for a second. I'm like, that could cause.
No, that's kind of see something that I try to do with these movies is I really try to put myself in that position. You just got out of a plane crash. Every single muscle in your body hurts if you survived, and then on top of the shock and the freezing cold, and I don't know.
yeah.
I really think like surviving all of that is so much luck, whether or not your body
especially in that
can
water.
just get through that.
I asked Eric, I'm like, you ever been so cold that it burns?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
the worst thing.
Yes.
Dude, I got
I've
that
been-
at Big Bear, and that's nowhere near as cold as this. I've experienced Alaska cold. I would never want to have to go through this.
So
This is like
the
deep Alaska too.
well, it
I've
was right.
been-
It was the wild.
So I've been as far as Fairbanks, which is like middle Alaska, but they seem to be maybe a little further north than that. But they said they were on their way to Anchorage, right? Which is pretty south.
What was their job? Were they like oil?
They were
people?
riggers, right? Oil riggers.
Yeah, and then he just
But, like,
took care of the wolves
Alaska?
if they came up. That was his job.
Yeah, which is also like I don't think would be a necessary job considering wolf behavior, but maybe I don't understand something. Maybe it's a little more common
they
than
just
I
made
think.
up a job.
Yeah, because I'm like, wolves are not going to be coming near a settlement full of humans. That's just not going to happen.
It just reeks of
That's-
human beings. Like, it's
So
not gonna-
why would they do that? We're not even their meals.
Yep.
So why would they want to do that?
That's right.
It's just picking a war to pick a war, and that they wouldn't do that. I don't know.
So Cowboy mentions in the comments here that Burke had a collapsed lung. So
Oh,
I looked
maybe.
that up real quick, and his symptoms are all suggestive of collapsed lung,
Oh man, and he was walking with all that distance with the collapsed lung.
aka
What a badass.
pneumothorax.
Can't you get rid of that by stabbing them?
Well, see that what they had
You
said
need,
was
like, a
these
thick gauge
survival in the harsh conditions would have exacerbated even
It
like
would have been impossible to keep him alive.
all of the easiest things that we could do down here in the city, you know. So it's
But how do you fix that? There's a way to fix
from
that.
what I know, which is like, with a grain of salt.
Grey's
is
Anatomy?
They'll take a yes, but also like other shit. Like a thick gauge needle, like a really thick one, and they just kind of, and that relieves because it's like air pressure
It's
holding it
It's
down.
too much pressure in your chest cavity.
So that releases
pushing in
it.
on your.
So you'll usually hear like a, air coming out of here.
And
So
then
that's
they
what
can breathe.
I would at least try it.
I mean, if they're already
anybody
gonna
got
die,
a little,
why not?
Little Swiss Army
It's
knife,
true.
just a little shank,
so according to the Mayo Clinic.
I don't know if I just stab him.
a little shank
According
and
to the
get a
Mayo
straw,
Clinic, in order to fix a collapsed lung or a pneumothorax, depending on its severity, the general approaches are observation. If the collapse is minor, doctors may monitor the condition while the lung re-expands naturally. Supplemental oxygen might be provided to speed up recovery. 2, needle aspiration or chest tube. For larger collapses, a hollow needle or a chest tube is inserted into the chest cavity to remove excess air and allow the lung to re-expand. Non-surgical repair, in some cases, substances may be used to seal air leaks, or a one-way valve might be placed to help the lung heal. And then 4 is surgery, the bigger cases. So a collapsed lung is a medical emergency, so immediate professional care is essential. And that, to me, is, I think, enough to answer that question, why he was having so much trouble right from the beginning. I think they were trying to tell us that. But to say, to go on your line where you were saying you put yourself in their position, I find myself putting myself in the position of the director, where I feel bad because I'm like, I know this was like a 6-hour or 7-hour movie. Like they filmed all of these pieces, and then the editors come in and chop it all up and try to make it make sense, right? And for the most part, you got to admit, they do a good job.
Yeah,
There was
it's a
some
good movie.
like it's a good movie, but there's some parts whether it's that's clearly a fake wolf or that's clearly CGI or fucking
Bro,
the
I
snow.
am
At
like-
one part, the snow was CGI, and I'm like, I know CGI snow when I see it. And
It was funny because so it was when they were walking along the river.
Yeah, just
like
the last
3
two.
seconds after he said that, when the wolves start coming, I was like, I recognize CGI wolf when I see one. There's these wolves with their asses like flying up into the air with every
they
step.
don't move right,
There's 2 things that I saw at that scene where they were running by the river. First scene, there's no snow. Second scene, snow is pouring down. Third scene, there's no snow again. Like it's
Oh my god, I didn't notice that. You're
Yeah,
so right.
no. In the snow, like as it's falling, it changes like intensities, like the
Yep.
CGI snow.
Yep.
I was paying
It's like-
attention to that too.
You see it just like barely collapsing on his shoulders, like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
And
you
it
know,
was like coming down.
and then
at
it goes
first.
to the wide shot and it's like pouring down.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, come on now. All right, so I guess now we're at that scene here, going through. I think we all agree.
Well, hang on. We forgot about the guy who fell.
Oh,
No, we talked about him.
Yeah, no,
No,
his,
we
his,
didn't.
he's seen
His
his
daughter-
daughter eaten by.
Oh,
and then the
okay,
next,
I guess we didn't talk
okay,
about
so
the
the
fall,
next
though.
death.
Oh,
next
we didn't
death.
talk about the fall.
We didn't talk about the fall.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
was-
crap!
That was done.
Do we not think that the branches might have? I
No.
don't know.
The branches beat him the fuck
They,
up.
yeah,
but
that
really,
would have
like-
fucked you up.
So the way he fell, he was holding on to the rope when he was falling, and he hit back first onto the tree.
dude. So that would have made him let go.
Yes, so he would have let go. You don't think any of those branches might have like slowed him down? Because they all immediately snapped, every single one of them as he was falling. But it's not like a lot of his momentum was stopped when he slammed into the tree. I don't think every single one of those branches would have broken. I think eventually it would have been enough to at least make it so that he didn't die. He basically died on impact.
So I'm going to say a very Gen X thing right now. You have clearly never fallen out of a tree.
I guess it all snaps.
I've fallen out of a tree, and so okay. When you climb a tree, you climb the branches that are strong enough to hold you, right? So you're grabbing onto them, you're pulling yourself up, you're doing all that. But when you fall, you're on the trunk and you're grabbing the branches right at the trunk. When you fall, you never fall right near the trunk. You always fall
the strongest
out.
Point.
And when you fall out, all of those branches, even if they don't break, they just bend and then they push you out further. And then that first one that bends and it snapped on him, right? Now it snapped pretty clean. I think they did a poor justice to the guy, because when he fell on that very first one, because he was holding on to that rope, what would have happened is the branch would have bent first and then it would have snapped, which would have rolled him away from the tree. And then he would have just been hitting leaves and small twigs. And
see, that would have made more sense to me.
Yeah.
Versus he just... they were just little popsicle sticks sticking out of the tree that he was just snapping.
It just went too fast. Yeah. The other part that could be possible, right? Because these particular trees, while they're a type of pine tree,
but they seem like sturdy pines.
They're only 5 inches at the trunk, and so what ends up happening is they have like none of their leaves and branches have any mass to them. They're very thin. They're very wispy. But this particular one, like that was the part that bothered me. How they did this was there was that one big tree that Diaz jumped across and grabbed onto, and then all the rest were like rather small. And I was like, where did this one like massive tree come from that could hold this dude's weight? And then there's no other tree like it anywhere. And when he fell, he should have fallen into the same tree that they were in, and he didn't.
No, he did.
Well, I mean, he did, but he didn't. Like it was so bizarre that didn't it feel to you like they were in another world when he fell down, that he fell down and the wolves got there and the guys were still like trying to come down, to the point where they drug him off and were gone before they even got out of that tree?
Well, I mean, I think they were climbing down quite a bit, right? Like they were climbing at least like 20, 30 feet down
and
from the top of a tree. Like also that first guy, I don't think he makes it to the other tree, like to the tree across the giant gorge.
Well, I mean, you can make it, but I mean,
he's free. He's attached to
a
a rope.
Everything that they said about that point before he went, everybody's got to go. What a way to go!
Oh yeah. So I remember the first time I watched it when he said that, I was like, that's actually a good pep talk. I actually felt like I could probably jump after hearing that. After hearing somebody say that, I'm like, you're fucking right. What, I either get eaten by wolves or I die jumping across a fucking gorge?
Trying to save everybody.
Trying to save everybody? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think I could resign to that fate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I feel
as
like
long as I can convince myself that I would die on impact at the bottom.
I feel like if one dude made it, they could all fucking just ran and jumped and made it, you know?
Well,
yeah.
Okay, so
here's the thing. If I do survive the plains, I don't survive this. No chance.
The fall?
Going across the gorge.
Yeah.
I don't even think I would ever touch the rope.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So the problem that I had with it wasn't any of that. It was what do we call it? Plot weapon. It was a plot weapon. It had to happen.
Oh, that is
right. That his
something got caught.
Boot had some kind of a ring on it that got caught at just the right spot. His hand was cut, and he insisted that
that he go last.
What was Liam Neeson's character? Otway. That Otway had to go first. Like, no. I need another minute to get my head wrapped around this.
I think that's the only mistake Otway made this entire time.
Yeah.
If TJ and I both said if we were him, we wouldn't have let him go last.
Right.
Yeah, no,
you're injured,
not.
bro. You got to go first. You got to go before me.
No, but it's also like, what if it snaps? Like at this end, I want to be here to
catch
hold it.
Yeah, I got to hold it.
You're injured. Like you can't hold on.
And all of those things, you know.
You're also scared of heights. Like I got to be here to coach you through it.
That too.
I'm terrified of heights. I definitely, I don't know.
I'm not. I could be on the edge of a building. I'll feel, a little shaky legs, but I think that's just like normal.
Normal.
You're not supposed to be up that high, but I'm not like afraid to go.
Can I get
up
real
somewhere.
with you for a minute?
Yeah.
The Call of the Void.
Yeah. Do any of you have that?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Do you get the Call of the Void?
Yeah.
I remember getting it. The most clear was in Sequoia National Forest. We went up to this place that I don't know if they all call it or if it's actually called Morrill Rock, the highest point at Sequoia's National Forest. And there's this spot that you can walk over the ledge. Like you just look over it and it's nothing but trees. And I had like the clearest voice in my head that said, jump. That scared the crap out of me, man. I backed off. I walked way back because I am afraid of heights. Like ladders terrify me. Roofs terrify me. And
I've gotten better about roofs.
but then like if I go way up, it doesn't bother me because there's no depth perception to me.
Oh, you lose the perception of it?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh man, I don't lose the perception of it. All I can think about is the perception of it. Like going up at the top of Supreme Scream, that's 256 feet up.
Oh, yeah.
And the second I get up there, all I can think about is, well, I know how tall I'm supposed to be compared to that ice cream stand right there. And I know how small it looks right now. And that makes me want to shit my pants.
Yeah. So after we get our characters survive and we get out to this point, we're across the levee here. The reason I wanted to back up, actually, the reason why I think that actually could have happened, Diaz was the one who went first. I honestly think you could do something like this, but you're breaking ribs, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Even if you do make it to the trees, you're basically doing what the guy who the rope snapped on him. I forget his name. Hendrix? Or no. That wasn't Hendrix. That was I forget his name. But the guy who was holding on to it, his boot got stuck and then it snapped.
Yep.
That's basically what you're doing. The first guy.
Henrik, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was that Henrik?
I think that was Henrik.
So that's basically what you're doing. Like that first guy, you're free jumping into a tree. How did he not break all the branches on his way down?
And that's exactly like
Which is why they didn't show it.
How I watched it, and running and jumping like that, the fact that he said you're going 30 feet, but it's going to feel like 30,000. I don't know if you're meaning to make me feel better about this, right? But if you think about falling 30 feet,
That's a long time.
that's higher than our roof right here. Like if you were to look out your window and look down, we're on the third story, but it's
that
technically
might
the
be-
fourth story.
That might be 30 feet.
Yeah, I just mean not our roof. Like if you were to look out the window right here, that would be about 30 feet.
Yeah, the roof would be
And
higher.
imagine jumping that.
No, that'd
Falling
be insane.
30 feet and hitting something and having the wherewithal after you hit to grab.
Yeah, no. You get the wind knocked out of you, first
At
of all.
least, right?
Yeah, that you wouldn't. I don't think you would initially feel everything that actually happened to you, other than the wind knocked out of you, until you collapse all the way to the bottom of the tree, because there's no way you're gonna grab onto the tree. I don't think that first guy ever makes it.
Right.
I think the best, what I thought they were gonna do would be to try to just throw the rope and get it caught on the tree and be like, I really fucking hope that holds.
I don't think that ever would have held. But I do go back to the original saying, everybody's got to go. What a cool way to go. So I guess if you're in that position and you've got to do this, I guess, but now.
But you know what the wolves proved? There was another way down. They did not have to do that.
Yeah. So we go down, we're on the other side now, and this was where Diaz calls it quits, right? Which they definitely led us to believe that he was donezo. The wolves were coming for him right when they walked away. I think that was the moment of peace. He sat there quietly, but then, if I'm not mistaken, we heard the wolves.
Yeah.
As
I
they
was
were on
expecting
approach,
to see one.
and then they cut away.
I feel like
had to
it
save
should
on
have
the
been
wolf
like a
budget.
mad respectful scene, like the wolf walks up slow, sits there for a second, and then it's just like, all right, now's the time,
Mm-hmm.
See what cracks me up. Honestly, my disgusting thought in my head is this guy goes and he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna give up. I can't walk, I can't do anything, and the wolves go by and go, you're gonna die anyway. And just walk away.
So that's what I was kind of hoping would happen, because he said something that actually touched my heart a little bit, but it was when he was basically saying like, no, I give up. Like I can't even.
I'm done.
That's a mile away. I can't walk 50 feet. It's like, also look behind you. How could I compete with this? It feels like God made this, or like God put this for me, and it made me think like, I don't know.
Dying in that spot right there.
Yeah, this is gonna make it seem
How can it get better
a
than
little
this?
stupid, but it makes me think like sometime in the history of America, there had to be someone who died looking just staring at something real pretty in the wilderness. And it makes you think, like, when he said that God made that just for him, and how could you possibly compete with that? That's very touching.
I constantly have the manly urge to just bleed out in a pristine forest of snow
by a lake or a
after
river.
saving your family,
Yeah.
just like gunshot wound, just like, you know what?
I think
of
I feel kind of warm.
I get what Undistractable, what Bob talked about. I think I could land a plane. I don't actually think I could, but I
try
Man,
it.
I can land a plane. Well,
it's supposed to be automated,
no.
right?
No.
But like, I
The
can
landing
do it.
is the part that you have
If I
to
could
do.
just
It's
find the landing
takeoff and
gear
landing that's
button.
I just say you flip them all and see what it does.
So the one
You're gonna end up
that I
dumping
thought
all
of in
your
that,
fuel.
it's kind of funny because
the pilots in the movie where there's sparks coming out and they both, I'm like, if both pilots are reaching up and flipping buttons at what seems like random, I think you're screwed,
Sparks
man.
flying everywhere, dude. You know you're cooked. There's no.
so the one thing that I think we all thought the same thing in very different ways at that scene with Diaz, because my comparison is it's the same thing, only different. It was the final scene in God, what was the World War I movie? All's Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh yeah, All Quiet on the Western. So I thought about
I'm
that.
talking about the original. I don't know how the remake ends. The
Oh.
original, he's standing in the trench and he actually stands up because he sees a bird. It's a ceasefire. It's a moment of ceasefire. He stands up and he sees a bird and he's looking at that bird, and just then the bullet hits him right in the head and the whistles blow and everybody gets out of the trenches and goes. He forgot where he was for just one freaking moment.
In the newest one, his, like, I think it's his captain, when he dies by the kid with the gun. Does that happen in the original?
I'm not recalling that.
So in the first one, they steal a chicken from from a French farmer, and
I remember that.
the kid hunts them down with a shotgun.
No, I don't remember that. That didn't happen.
And the captain, like, the kid comes up on the captain and the soldier behind them, and the captain's like, "You're not gonna shoot." Basically, he's like, "You're not gonna shoot," and he takes a step forward, and the kid shoots him. I feel like I'm kind of butchering what actually happens, but something along those lines. He dies in, like, a really pretty area, but the kid that the movie follows dies, like, in a nasty ass trench, and like, you're right, in the new one, he gets stabbed in a bunker with a bayonet, and as soon as the bayonet goes through him, you hear the ceasefire whistles get called, and then the bayonet gets out of him, and the French soldier walks away, and then he stumbles out of the trench, sits down, and I think he sees a butterfly fly, and he, like, looks at that as he dies, which I guess that's, like, kind of pretty, but he's in a nasty ass trench of death.
Yep.
So
one
Pristine
pretty
white
thing.
forest, my blood slowly dripping. You can see the trail of it.
if I were him, I would wish that I wouldn't die of the wolves, and that I
Is
could
that
just die
is that
naturally
your
there.
ending, TJ?
Yeah, I open up my suit jacket. There's a bullet wound. Sit
Damn,
down
so you
on
get
this,
into a
next to this
gunfight.
nice tree. Just bleed
In a
out.
suit? So this was some mafia shit.
Finally
This is
feel warm.
in the
you know?
forest. Finally feel warm. Well, I mean, nobody's forcing you to live in Washington, you weirdo.
Also,
you there.
I would like to say that there
I don't
should be
think
a
black people are
sequel.
supposed to be in the North.
There should be a sequel to this movie called The Wolf, where he beats the alpha and becomes the alpha of the
Oh
wolf
my
pack.
god, that would be so funny.
Do you know the funniest thing on this movie? For the longest time, I thought this was a werewolf movie.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I never researched it. I never looked at it, and I always see the cover of it. And whenever, because I love horror movies. On all of my time that I'm sitting with anything playing for noise, I'm always playing horror movies. So I've gone through every werewolf movie, vampire movie, zombie movie, anything I could think of, and this one always comes up as a recommendation with all of my werewolf movies. So I thought it was a werewolf movie. I was like, but I don't see, like, the proper application for survival for the podcast here, so I don't recommend those very often. I don't think I've recommended any. There's one that I like, but I don't think it's good for survival.
We're gonna do Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Abe Lincoln. You know, I will tell you there's some corresponding lore to vampires and zombies. It's not. It's not tight.
I really thought you were going to say vampires and Abe Lincoln. I thought we were going to go down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theory for a second.
No.
I want to do like more, just straight up survival movies. They don't gotta be no mythical.
I liked
creatures
this
or nothing,
one.
Like just fuck it,
So,
wolves or fuck it, bros
I
on an
agree.
island. I'm
Now,
thinking Castaway boys.
This never gave me.
That's a tough one.
This never gave me werewolf vibes when I saw the cover. It immediately made me think of The Revenant because The Revenant has a very similar cover.
Which is also one that I thought of. I was like, maybe The Revenant. I haven't seen it.
We've been throwing it around. We eventually.
I haven't
You've
seen
never
it in a
seen
while.
it?
I've seen it.
Oh.
I just haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
So I don't know,
good
like,
one.
if
The
it's
Revenant
good
would be
for, like, a
good.
survival.
The Revenant would be a good one for that.
I mean, it really. I don't know. The Revenant's tough because you, like I was telling TJ, you
Guys,
start with a
survival
severe
tip.
handicap.
If you're about to freeze to death, dog, hollow out your horse and crawl inside. Survival tip of the day.
Yeah, TJ and I were talking about it. You start with such a severe handicap that you start off mauled by a bear.
Yeah.
I don't know if you survive that.
It's like that Zomboid challenge where you're naked,
Yeah.
your leg's broken, you're in a house fire.
You're drunk.
You're drunk,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, it's like it's every worst case scenario that
like,
is.
now
It's such a bad
survive.
scenario.
As long as you can.
There's different scenarios that you can start yourself in, and that's like the first one they offer, and like that is the worst case. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's everything you don't want in a zombie apocalypse.
Literally.
So now we get to the end here with our Adway, and he's going to stand off against the Alpha. I think that...
Can we talk about the guy who fell in the river really quick?
Oh, I hate that guy.
Both of them?
Yeah, we can.
First
ahead.
of all,
Tell me what you have in mind.
those wolves were CGI when they started chasing him, for sure. Second, Liam Neeson was straight up outrunning a wolf. That's crazy. 3, once you fall in the river, you're screwed. I don't think even if you make it out of the water.
And like, first of all, you'd have to not be being like you're being chased by wolves, so you'd have to get out and like not get mauled, right? So let's say that the wolves do just disappear. You're freezing cold. You don't. Your lighter's wet. You're not gonna be able to light shit, right? You can't even use your lighter because your hands are numb.
Yeah,
you're just gonna die.
That's a good point right there.
Even if you're able to get a fire started, you would have to strip, and then you'd be naked in freezing cold with a fire,
trying to
and
dry your clothes,
are
which are not gonna dry with your little
you're
last
not
fire.
Yeah, you fell in the water, you're done. You're completely toast. However, I do think dying of hypothermia, I think almost a guaranteed. I think you're screwed. However, dying of drowning, I think was completely preventable.
I think so.
He got his foot stuck, and not once did he reach
And
down
the
to try
rock
and
was
loosen up his
moving.
foot. Yeah, he could have moved it. If he would have just put his head down and used his hands, he could have loosened himself. But instead, he just kept grabbing at the
panicked.
log that he couldn't reach.
Yeah.
He never tried anything else.
Yeah, and that
And Liam
situation,
Neeson's
there's
character
people who panic
also.
and there's people who think clearly.
But Otway, who was thinking clearly the entire time, he really let me down on this one scene.
Bro was
because
like,
he didn't.
"What the fuck are you doing, dog?" Just
Yeah, yeah. Well, what are you doing, man? What do you mean? What is he doing? He's drowning.
I
Reach
Get up.
down and help him. What, you think he's doing it on purpose?
I think there was a couple that like pull your freaking leg out, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and not so I get it. Maybe he panicked, but Otway was this light in the darkness the entire time, the sane mind, the calm spirit, and the chaos. Not once did he think he was already soaked head to toe. But not once did he think to go down and move his foot.
Am I not remembering right? Wasn't it after Otway had breathed into him twice? He goes, "Hold your breath," and he keeps breathing out all of his air. He goes, "Hold your breath."
Yeah, but why?
And then he
didn't-
started yelling at him, "What are you doing?" Because he wouldn't hold his breath.
But why didn't Otway go down to like grab his leg and try to loosen it? Otway was already soaked head to toe, so it's not like he was trying to prevent his head getting wet.
Well, I
but
can't
like-
speak to.
They
'cause
never tried to loosen
They
his foot.
They didn't do anything realistic in the river. None of that was realistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you go into freezing water like that, it feels like you are being stabbed
Yeah,
all
pins
over
and
your
needles, the
body.
whole- yeah.
I used to have to get into the whirlpool, and it's ice with water, right? Ice with water, and you get in there, and it just hurts so bad. So I think they did a very bad job of demonstrating how freaking painful that water would be.
But also the adrenaline of... So I give adrenaline a lot of credit here, because if you're being chased by wolves, which they had been the entire movie, but again, I think anytime the wolves show up when they weren't already there, your adrenaline spikes. So I think maybe the adrenaline had them going for a bit.
Well, but remember this.
Maybe not feeling it as much as you normally would.
Adrenaline doesn't work. It doesn't work for the positive in all things. While you're right, the adrenaline rush could have prevented them from feeling the immense cold because they were being chased by wolves and fell in the water and it was a surprise. The adrenaline from running for their lives could have spared them the immediate the overwhelming nerve pain from falling in freezing water. That's a possibility. But the other thing that adrenaline does to you is it makes you panic. Number one, the guy's in water, so he's not breathing well anyway. He's not staying calm. He's not getting oxygen to his brain. So you don't think right.
Yeah,
none of your actions are correct.
But that's what I said.
First thing you do when you get into really cold water is you either breathe all the way out or you breathe all the way in. He got completely submerged. So either he's out of air or he's just breathed in a shitload of water.
But so timing wise, my point was, I think Otway was yelling at him, "What are you doing?" when he breathed in air into his mouth two times and the guy wouldn't hold his breath. I do agree with you, TJ, and Nerdy Vet and Cowboy in the comments where I don't think it's possible to hold your breath in that water. The pain is so extreme that you're screaming. Yeah. You're screaming underwater. And you're going to wind up breathing in a whole lung full of water.
My only complaint is they never once tried to loosen his foot.
No, I completely agree, but that would require Liam Neeson wanting to go underwater with his head in that.
He doesn't want to, but he already did.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's trying to prevent that, it getting wet. He already got soaked. You were talking about saving his only person's life.
You're drowning. All of your friends died in real badass ways, except for one. One had a collapsed lung. But, they all died to wolves. Imagine you're the only one who's about to die
from drowning.
And your last kiss is Liam Neeson. And you're going to die from water.
Look, I'm just saying.
After everybody else fighting these wolves.
I like it.
Doing badass shit. You just, I would give up.
Look. I'm just saying, I think there's worse people to be your last kiss. I'm not saying that's best case scenario, but I think there is way worse.
TJ?
Yeah, that's bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel. Being kissed by TJ.
Crazy.
And my beard and his beard, we get stuck together like Velcro.
Yeah, it'd be so gross.
So gross. Disgusting.
But fuck you. Look, my lips are soft and sensual.
Yeah, but your beard, we're gonna get stuck together.
What I was saying about Liam Neeson's character about Otway is that he'd proven the whole movie to be this very calm in the chaos kind of person, and in this one time he really let me down where I really expected him to try and loosen his foot. If he tried to loosen his foot and couldn't get it, it was just so stuck. There was no way he could get it out. And the guy drowned before he was able to get him out. Sure, but
yeah, I do gotta say, I agree with Cowboy on this one. The only reason why it didn't happen, it wasn't in the script.
True.
Yeah. I think this one goes to bad writing.
I also think
they needed him.
The character should have been Otway should have been more interactive and responsive. The way he had been, his character, it should have. But yeah, I think
they wrote this guy to die.
The ending would have been a lot better because it ended he breaks the bottles and then they run. 2 steps, cut, right? I feel like it needed to end in the clash. Not the full fight.
Thank you.
But just
thank you. That's what I thought.
The first punch, the freaking wolf going for the bite. Him with the freaking glass punch. Just and then.
No, I'm
I'll
not
tell you.
That would have been way better.
I think that's so action movie.
This is an action movie.
It's an action movie.
It's not an action movie. It's a survival adventure movie, if anything.
Oh, this could have been an epic ending.
No, I think that's, I don't know.
TJ, I'm with you.
I don't think that's artistic. I think that's very Marvel movie.
No.
That is literally how every Marvel movie ends.
No,
I don't.
Every Marvel movie ends with the villain getting murked.
It should end with the clash.
You want Marvel? Marvel was. I did have the Marvel ending in my head. That's what I saw.
No, he
The
would
way
have
I
to go
saw
against
it
an
was
evil Liam Neeson. That would be a Marvel movie.
No. Check this out. This was the ending that I wish would have happened. This is in my head. Same thing. Liam Neeson, Otway, the wolf, staring each other down. They go at each other. Sure, it can cut to black like that, right? Directed by. Flashes back. You see one blow landed, one bite, cuts back, goes to next credit, cuts back
my
to
God.
scene, another
And then
blow,
it's
another
Linkin
blow. That's
Park.
Marvel.
What
That's in my head.
I've done.
That's exactly right.
Oh, okay, hang on. You brought up something that made me think. Throughout the entire movie, the wolves did not do enough damage to the people. Every time they bit them or whatever,
It
would have been
weak.
so much worse. Liam Neeson wouldn't have been able to use his arm for the rest of the movie after that first attack.
Diaz got bit to shit and nothing happened to him.
These wolves
They
were on
really
them
just,
for like 20 seconds at a time, and then they would come out with like minor scrapes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you would
no,
just
you
see,
got
you
mauled.
just see,
Yeah,
and then it would
like,
either
no.
cut to them being okay or cut to their horrific,
So the thing
mangled
about
body.
the thing about wolves is that it's not like a domesticated dog. Like they're gonna bite and shred. They bite and pull. They're shredding you.
Yeah.
Like your arm's not going to be usable.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, remember the Hush, where the guy took a claw hammer to the forearm. Way worse than that.
Yeah.
Way worse than that.
So I would have been okay with if they would have even showed the shredding of the clothing.
Yeah,
Like,
because then you could maybe say like, okay,
I
maybe
didn't
the
get
padding.
bit because they grabbed the coat
Josh
and they
said
were
this
pulling
movie
on the
is
coat.
considered a survival thriller, aka an action movie. Just saying.
No, that is not an action movie at all.
Action movie.
A thriller is not an action movie. No.
You're outvoted. I'm the host. I'm right. You're wrong.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit. You guys want to
Do you want to argue with me?
You guys want a Marvel
You want to argue
movie.
with
Yes,
me about this?
Yes, I will argue with you about this because you're wrong. You
No.
want a Marvel movie out of this,
Nah,
and this
dude,
is a
if
survival
it would have just
thriller.
ended with a clash and then directed
No.
by, and then what
No,
fucking
that's
Alex
See?
said, that would have been
That's
fucking
so-
heat.
No, that's so
would've been
action
fucking
movie.
heat.
Like I need to see the conflict. No.
No. I don't need to see who wins. And I wouldn't have even needed that fucking ending credit thing.
The ending
that
credits
last
ruined
bit.
it for me because I think that's stupid. He doesn't survive that. No, you don't survive that. That's so dumb. And even if he did survive that, the rest of the pack wouldn't just let him sit there
that
with the
was what
dying
we
alpha
talked about.
wolf.
That's what
they
we
would
talked
maul
about.
him. He would not survive. The wolf would definitely survive.
Either that or he becomes the alpha of the pack.
Literally,
But I'm
they
okay
need
with
the
that
sequel
too. That's
called
taking
The
a direction.
Wolf.
The wolf.
That's taking a direction for sure.
But with that in mind, all of our listeners, please go check out our social media accounts. We are on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Will You Survive the Podcast. You can find us on YouTube at The Boys at WYS. You can also see us on X, formerly Twitter, at The Boys WYS or Alex and Eric WYS. I did try to change that name. You can also send us your emails. We look forward to getting any of your critiques, comments, or suggestions. Please send those to theboys at willyousurvivethepodcast.com. That's THEBOYS at willyousurvivethepodcast.com. And with that, you guys give me your closing remarks, and I'm going to tally up my points here, and I will tell you who won this episode.
I think all in all, great movie. Not realistic wolf wise, not wolf behavior at all. I don't think anybody survives this because none of the characters survived it. So I think that's pretty telling.
The Gray
All right.
is about a depressed middle-aged man who likes to beat up on wolves. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Freaking abusive animal
Just a-
rights
just an
activists.
old guy
Where
who likes
are
to
you?
punch dogs.
Gosh, we got to do away with this. All right. Eric is our winner.
Woo!
Winner speech.
I don't know what the hell we're gonna do next week, but I'm super excited, super honored to win. TJ's really on a losing streak here, so I'm excited to hear what his losing
Boom, boom,
speech is.
boom. TJ, losing speech.
I don't care. I really don't. It's like at this point, I don't expect to win because I had all these great ideas and all this shit, and I was with the conversation the whole time, and
Jet
me and you were
fuel on the
connecting near
woods?
the end, and then it's a tie. But hear me, I had way more ideas, way more critiques for the movie. I think I should have won, but really, I don't care,
Bro.
It's fine,
Bro.
I'll stay on this losing
I
streak
would-
as long as I need to.
I would like to point out that one of those said several ideas that he had was jet fuel on open wounds.
Well, and that
So-
was like the hardest part that you guys give me is both of you kept saying the same answers at the same time. Like you would both chime in. Oh yeah, when we were watching this, that's why I say you make it hard on me because you guys watch this together. You share your ideas before we come to the podcast, and then you guys have the same answers afterwards. So you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
I think, and honestly, I think what it is, TJ, is the delay because I hear Eric first.
Can't do shit about that.
No.
I think that's a.
No, I mean, you could not live in Washington like, all the other stupid people.
I feel like California sucks ass, and
Come spend more money to exist here.
Yeah,
why
come
would
on.
I spend more money
It's
to
better.
exist somewhere and
Because
also
it's
have
the
that
fifth
somewhere
largest
catch on
economy in
fire
the world.
sporadically?
Every year, not sporadically. Every single year at the same time.
I'll
Yeah,
have you
I'd
know-
rather just deal with your guys' smoke than fucking be in the flame path.
I'll have you
I'm
know,
good.
first of all, our smoke you're not seeing. Our smoke is blowing east, not north. But
All right, Cowboy is asking for the email again. That is theboys@willyousurvivethepodcast.com. THEBOYS @willyousurvivethepodcast.com. Spelled the way you see it at the top of the screen.
all right, well, I appreciate winning.
Whatever. I already had like shit planned out, but whatever. It's never gonna happen.
Well, it's you know what? Because it was a tie, I'll leave it up to you guys. Since Eric has nothing, if he wants to turn it over to you, he can.
No,
Do I
I
still
don't
get
even
the season
fucking want it.
points?
Yeah, you could get the season points,
I still get the season points, but he gets to host.
but he has to
I
do the
don't
work.
want to host.
Well, actually, yeah, that's a big negative for him because then he can't earn points next episode.
Yeah, no, I'm not now.
Here's what
Just
we'll
not
do.
gonna
We'll
host.
give TJ 3/5 of the points.
3/5 of. So what? But it's only 3 points. So what is that? Like, the fuck is?
I only got 3/5 of a fuck to give. I don't. You can figure out what the fuck you're doing, homie. I got all my shit planned. I got a whole list of shit. I got the D&D episode I still am working on. I still
You got to
got
finish that up because I'm actually
I got
amped for that shit.
multiple movies in line. I keep getting recommendations from other people. I always have a movie. It's
I
just
will be-
deciding on which one from my list to do.
I will be fair about this. If you get a
So you weren't fair before.
D&D going up, if you get a D&D going, honestly, I think you can probably make that thing go for a few episodes.
Exactly.
Just saying.
But that'll never happen because I'm never going to win.
There's a
Thank you
movie
all for
on-
listening. This has been the Will You Survive podcast. I am not the
There's a
host, but I
movie-
don't care.
There's a movie on Amazon Prime
love you
just
all.
called Zombies.
Until next time.
You're
stay
not
alive.
the host. You can't even say it. It doesn't
I
even
can.
work if you
It
say
does
it.
work like
No.
that. You know what?
Alex
It
has to
did.
say
It worked like that last time because none of you said stay alive.
Well, thank you all for tuning in again for another episode of Will You Survive the Podcast. We appreciate all of your support listening to our episodes, downloads. Please go check out all of our other episodes that we have. And as we stay on topic here, every single week we come up with something new. We'll see what Eric comes up with for next week's podcast. If you want to listen to this live, make sure you go check us out on TikTok at Will You Survive the Podcast. And until next time, stay alive.